Lewis and his gang came up here on Friday, and they started laying it and put it down, but they didn't have the adhesive to go on the back of it. So if when you're walking, just be mindful that the carpet is not secure yet. So just be mindful of it. Even I had a little problem earlier. So. But they promised to be back in town, so they're in Savannah. Sheila and Darlene are down at the flea market. So just so much is going on this weekend. Lots and lots and lots of good stuff going on. So this morning our lecturer is Minister Ross. She's going to be talking about practicing the presence. Presence. Oh, I just loved it when she told me she was going to be talking about this. Because so many times we want to have a relationship with Spirit, but we just don't know how to do it. So hopefully she's going to give us some pointers and some tips. So I'm going to send to Minister Ross.
Good morning, everybody. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you guys today. I became an ordained minister last Sunday, so this is a big deal today to actually put that into action, and a little bit of a story of how we came to this topic in the first place. So I was reminded last Sunday, oh, next Sunday you're on, and I instantly went into panic mode. And Miss Dorita sent me a message on Thursday, and she said, what are you talking about? I need a blurb. And that whole week, I had asked Spirit, guide me. Let me know what I'm supposed to be talking about on next Sunday. And I trusted that Spirit would deliver, and as Spirit does sometimes, Spirit took its time. And to the moment that I got that text message from Miss Dorita, and it said to me so clearly, the power of presence. I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's what I'm going to be talking about, the power of presence. And what came to me was understanding that if we are claiming our place as gods of this earth, then we have to own everything that we create. And if we know that we are constantly creating, the only time to do that is in our present moments. And so it made me think, how often are we truly present in our present moment? How often are we consciously creating our future right now? And I bet that answer for a lot of us is not often. Not often enough to be creating what we want to create.
Yes.
And so as a personal journey to me, Spirit's been giving it to me hard because I was trying to plan for this. What am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? And everything that came to me just didn't feel right. And I started to panic and realize in those present moments I was creating chaos for my future. And so that came to fruition this morning because I had the intentions of getting up early, meditating, being present, knowing exactly what I was going to talk about today. And my alarm didn't go off. I had a bad dream right before I woke up. I really had a breakfast in mind and went to my kitchen and realized I didn't have any food for breakfast. And then Spirit told me, how are you going to talk about the present by planning? The only way to really explore and to be present is to be present. So that hasn't always been a comfortable place for me to be in. So today is an honor to really create my future for myself by being in this moment right now, what I want to be tomorrow. So it's a powerful experience. And I think if we get one thing out of today, I definitely want to make sure that we are together able to at least experience this experience of being present together. So I ask that all of us just sit up straight for a moment. And draw our attention to our breath. And bring ourselves to this moment. Feel where you are. What do you hear? What do you smell? What are the thoughts rolling through your head? And just take a second to just feel your beingness. We're so accustomed to doing. Just feel what it's like to be in this moment. And feel the presence of those around you. How does it feel to be with the person beside you, or behind you, or before you? Just be. And when you feel yourself connected to this moment, all of those present, open your eyes. So I thank you again, maybe for the first time, to everybody for being here today. So when we go back to thinking about who we are as creators in this world, and understanding that our creativity comes from this present moment, are we mindful of what we're thinking, what we're saying, how we're feeling, what we're doing? Because we are energetic beings. So we are constantly creating. Do you know what you're creating? So in neuropsychology, they have something they call an amygdala hijacking. And so the brain kind of functions in a way where we have this internal part and then the external part. So the amygdala lies on the inside, and then we have our frontal cortex. And this is the thinking, more conscious part of our being. And where a lot of us tend to operate less frequently. We often go through what's called an amygdala hijacking. So the amygdala is the part of the brain that speaks to fear in the way that we react to fear. It's more of a reaction than a response, more than a conscious response. And so amygdala hijacking is when you react out of a place of fear where you feel like something is threatened. Maybe it's your ego that's threatened. Maybe it's your actual physical being. Maybe it's your mental being. Maybe it's your values. And we respond, we react out of that. Oh, if she passed my desk one more time, I'm going to say this, that, and this to her. Someone cuts you off. Someone cuts you off on your drive to work one day, and you want to throw up a certain finger or say a certain thing to somebody. That's called an amygdala hijacking, or being all up in our emotions. But even in those moments, we're creating our future, and we're not creating a future that we would likely want to be in. So there's this technique of mindfulness and being present. So when you feel those moments, you can calm this amygdala from reacting and get your prefrontal cortex re-engaged so you can be mindful in the way that you're handling your situations. And so my working style, I'm not so much of a stand up here and talk for an hour. I want to hear what divine wisdom you guys have to bring to the table, what strategies you use in mindfulness and being present throughout the day. So if anybody in this room has ever experienced an amygdala hijack, just raise your hand. Right? Whoever's experienced one within the last hour, raise your hand. Have you put any strategies in place for you to work through that?
Yes.
To consciously create in that moment what you want instead of your fearful reactions? Ashab, talk to us.
Mine is simply what you had mentioned earlier about the breath. I have been practicing, training my body how to breathe again. Like how baby walk, how to walk. I've been training my body on how to breathe again. So when I find myself, when I become aware of that state, I've been hijacked, I immediately just go to the breath and become aware of the breath and of the mechanics of the breathing. Feel myself, my lower abdomen expanding as the air coming in. I feel the sensation of the air entering my body, and I feel my lower abdomen contracting as I exhale out from my mouth as I release. So as I bring my attention to my breathing, then I begin to calm down and bring my vibration back to a place where I recognize a peace.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Anybody else?
I'll piggyback on what Chef said. Breathing is real important, particularly when you're in traffic and people cut you off. But what I find is that, like if you get the fingers, I just say, I love you. They suck.
So you actually mouth it to the person.
Yeah, I mouth it to them. And you should see the reaction.
And at that same time, you're putting out a completely different energy into that universe.
Yeah.
And
Canceling.
Yeah, canceling it out.
And canceling and then pulling into yourself more love by giving out more love to them. That's powerful.
Yes.
Thank you. And so that leads me to want to discuss what is presence in love. So it makes me think of a story that I heard. I went to see Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk, a few years ago. He was at the Warner Theater and he was talking all about this topic of presence. And he told us a story about this couple that had been together for 60 plus years. They were in their hundreds now. So for some of us, we intend to live much longer than that. So they're still kind of young.
Yes.
For those of us who plan to live to be, 140 or so. But they had been together for years, and they were falling ill as a couple, and they were at this point where they were living in their separate rooms. But every morning, the old man would come down the stairs and make tea in the morning for his wife, and he's done that for all the 60-something years they've been together. And after he'd make her tea, he'd go out to the garden in the back and tend to their vegetables, and she would come down and drink her tea, and they would meet later on in the day just to be together. Sometimes they would talk, and sometimes they would just be together. And so as the old lady is falling ill, their children are aware of this, but they're afraid of how their father will handle not being with his spiritual partner for so long. one day she died, but they didn't want the father to know. So he came down as he usually did, and he poured her coffee and laid it on the table and went out to tend the garden. And, she usually left her empty cup on the table after she finished, and he would wash it and put it away and get it ready for the next day for her. And the children, when they noticed that the mother was dead that morning and that her tea was waiting on the table, they drank it themselves and left it on the table. And when the dad came in after he was tending to the garden, they said, "Oh, Mom was tired today. She's resting. She'll come down later on, or she'll come down tomorrow." He'd wash her teacup, and as he always did, and this persisted for about a week. Them giving excuses for her presence not being there. And so he came down in from the garden one morning after making her tea, as he did every day, and he said, "How long are you guys going to keep this up?" He go to his children when they said, "Oh, she's upstairs. How long are you guys going to keep this up?" They said, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" He said, "I know your mother is passed. How long are you going to keep this up?" And they said, "Well, if you knew she's passed, then why do you keep making tea for her every morning?" And he's like, "I love to make her tea in the morning. That's why I make it." And they're like, "Well, how do you know Mother has passed?" And he said, "Every day that I sit with your mom after tending to the garden, I don't just do things with her. I am present with her. I spend time being with her." There's a difference between being around each other and coming to service and doing your day-to-day with the people that you love. There's a difference between that and truly being with somebody, where you bring all of your presence, all of who you are to that moment, and you're willing to share that with somebody. If it's not that, then it's just what we call with children parallel play, right? Where one's sitting here doing one thing, one's sitting here doing another thing, and they're not really together. How many people in our lives are we claiming to be with, to spend time with, but we're just really doing parallel play? There's great power in being with others. So that's just something that's come up from the Spirit. And it just makes me want to pose the question to you. Are you really with the people that you're with? Are you spending time being, or are you just doing together? Is anything coming up for anybody? You can just be with that for a second.
Being is, I'm thinking about it now in my head, because a lot of times you are just doing or just there with the person. Being with them. It's almost like you're inside of them and they're inside of you. And what really came up for me is counseling. When I'm counseling people, and they always ask me, "Well, you're a psychologist, right?" No. But I am being with them. I never really thought about it that way, because they're asking me, "Well, how do you know that?" The dialogue, the feeling that I'm feeling from them when we are intercoursing. I'm there with them, and I know how they feel, so it's easier for me to assist them through their particular challenge. And it can be a little draining when you're actually being with someone, because you're fully engaged, with their thoughts, their feelings, their heartbeat, everything. You can feel them getting nervous, you can feel them calming down, all of it. It's just a lot, it's just a whole dialogue when you're really being with someone. So, yeah. I guess when I think about it on my outside relationship, when I'm just talking to people, I guess it's my parallel play.
I have a question. What does it mean exactly to be in the present moment? I keep hearing that, and I'm really trying to understand the essence of that. Trying to grasp the whole idea behind being in the present moment. What does that mean exactly?
I believe that that's a different experience for everybody else. To me, The only thing that I can liken it to is like hitting the focus or zoom on a camera, right? So if you're going to take a picture, you kind of have, your whole environment, but then you zero in, the picture comes into focus, you're zoomed in, and you're completely with the subject at hand. That's the only way that I personally can explain my personal experience of being present. Maybe other people have ways that they can share how they experience presence to be.
My great-great-grandson has brought it back to my attention, my being with him. I find it's like going into their energy. I mean, just abandoning who you are, like just focusing in on their energy and what's going on with them, and and not so much what's going on with them, what they're actually doing, moving. And I found that my great-grandson has helped me get back into that with people. I'm challenged with my mom on that one, but with children, I can seem to do it a lot easier. And when you do it, you don't come away drained, you come away energized and more aware.
Yes.
Because like it's like the baby sitting next to you, they want you to pick them up because they can't quite get the legs together, so they try to climb on you. And you watch how they little legs try to hold this big fat body up. And remember that's what we were too, and think of, when we were growing up and maturing. And I think we kind of forget about the fun part of it. We get so serious, and well, for me anyway, I've seen it gotten too serious for my own good. So the babies are really showing me how to relinquish that.
You're really allowed to be in the here and the now of this moment, where you're not focused on the past and you're not focused on what's going to happen tomorrow and in the future, but your focus right now is the conversation that we're having right now.
I guess because I'm a planner. See, sometimes I like to plan. That's my problem. So that's me not being present, I guess, because I'm thinking a little too much. And then sometimes I'm too young to be thinking that much, So I guess in a sense it would be helpful for me to stay present.
I think the thing that helps that a lot too is meditation.
Yes.
So allow thought. Even when I go to bed at night, I don't know if you call it meditation then, but I just allow thoughts just flow through. Don't even mess with them. Just let them go through.
Okay.
And just don't even grab them. Just let them flow
Okay.
through. And
Yeah,
don't
that
focus
makes
on
sense.
anything. And then I just calmly go.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I have an opportunity to work with developmentally disabled. And they actually seem to be in a continuous state of childhood, and so they're a lot more open to being free in the moment. It's kind of cool to watch. If they don't even like what they were doing just a couple minutes ago, even if it was an outburst of some sort or something in the other room, it's so easy for them to just leave that there. So they walk into the next room there and that room there and that happening, whatever going on there. And they seem to be able to be on that level of playing with each other very easily. Like, they understand each other. One of them doesn't talk good, but they understand. Two of them don't talk good. They can talk back and go forth to each other and understand exactly what they're saying, even though the words is coming out of their mouth. But it's that zone, that place, that being there, they're able to tune into that and ride that with very little altering.
So what you're saying is that they're really being in spirit. Because the words are not the words that we would normally hear and understand ourselves, but they can. So they're vibing on that energy. That's interesting. I'd like to see that.
One in particular, that's all you hear out of her mouth. It's air coming through her mouth, but no, distinction of sounds. But when I started understanding her and we started having conversations, she would come up to me and come and get me and leave me. She wanted
I am now her best.
Mm.
She would go get something and she would get something for herself and we'd sit down and she would want me to be, and because I didn't understand it at first, you guys helped me develop this because this just happened on Friday. But I just recognized what that might be, me being able to be present in the moment with her, whereas I have seen others in the house, how they respond. And I am as well a planner. And I just discovered yesterday in conversation that sometimes you can plan things, like for instance, you try to do 3 or 4 things at the same time, so you program, you're gonna say something, you're gonna look here, you're gonna do that. And so when I said it, it was totally in a tone that was, I didn't mean to say it like that. Because I had pre-programmed those words to come out of my mouth, but I had pre-programmed the spirit of the words, or the intent of the words so much to give what I wanted to come across, and I had to come back to that moment and purpose. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. That came out as a pre-programmed item, and I didn't put the feeling in it like I meant to, so that also led me to another place of recognizing that sometimes I have to look at how somebody else has said something to me, and it may or may not be the intent that they said in that tone, in that voice, in that moment. But I have to also understand that I too have to slow down and get into that moment, go back to that place, and be in that voice, that spirit, that connection. Because it's like I disconnected to go do something else. It, like juggling so many balls at one time, it wouldn't come back. So, that just, this whole weekend has kind of given me an opportunity to see the many facets of staying in the moment.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing. Anyone else want to share their experience of being present?
I just wanted to comment on prejudice. It's like this society requires you to live in 2 parallel worlds at the same time. Because you got to be organized and whatever goal oriented, but then you still have to be able to be calm enough to
Stay in control.
right and listening to this spirit. Because I always thought you need to be in control, but then I found out, I'm not in control. I got that.
It's like if you get out the way of it.
Right, it comes, it flows.
And more flows. But yeah.
And it sounds like it's a God experience, because it's something that's really outside of yourself. Well, it's inside of yourself, but it's just so foreign to your everyday routine that it feels like it's like something outside of
So
yourself.
you gotta let the external get out the way, to let the spirit take over the control of that part.
Thank you all for sharing that. So this makes me feel a little led to an activity coming from your question about what does it mean to be present and to own that energy. So if you guys will just take a second, just look at your hands. So as Rita often talks about putting your attention and intention, and so just take the time to just look at your hands and feel them. Feel the energy coming out of them. You might feel a shaking, a vibrating, a throbbing. If you feel a sensation, just let us know what you're feeling right now. Tingling?
Yes.
Yes.
Shaking. A shaking.
Right.
Keep focusing on that energy. I'm feeling my ring fingers kind of twitching back and forth. Now with that same intention and attention, rub those hands together. Keep focusing on that energy present. Now separate your hands and cup that energy, like you're holding a ball. Just slightly move your hands in and out, see if you can feel that energy present. Just be with it. And pull out your hand a little bit further away and push it in. Y'all look like y'all having fun, so we can be here for a moment. So when I think about the present moment, you keep playing with your energy balls. When I think about the present moment, this is what comes to mind, where this is what we are, we're energy. And we emanate so much energy, so much creative energy all the time. Well, where is this energy that we're creating all the time? Where is it going? Where are we putting it? Are we throwing it at the person that cut us off? Are we spending this energy thinking about what happened yesterday? Are we spending this energy worrying about what's going to happen next or what's going to happen tomorrow? Or planning for what we're going to do after we get off of work? This is great power. Just the power that we did in our hands. Where do you want this energy to go? Because we're constantly creating this in every moment of every day. Where do we want to put it? So I invite you guys to take a second to take this energy you created and throw it to where you want it to be. And so what's coming up to me, and it's not my way of trying to pass the reins, but I'm thinking about the summer solstice and the energy that's present. And I was just wondering if Brother David, if you had any advice for us in being present in this present moment and how it pertains to the shifts that we're experiencing right now with the summer solstice.
Allegedly or arguably, summer solstice is longest day of the year. Ancient scripture says that they had some battles fought on this day. The guy made the sun stand still and the moon. They couldn't pass. And I believe all that attaches to the question that the young lady asked about being in the present. What does being in the present mean? And the summer solstice is indicative of that. The fact of the matter is, we're always in the present. The question is, where's your consciousness in that present moment? The way the world has been evolving, some of you already spoke on it, we've learned how to plan a lot of things, take control of things. And that seems to have taken over. I'm reminded of what you were talking about earlier. You were talking about being hijacked. And I was wondering, what is that hijacking about? The big picture that I'm seeing in evolution where we are today, we're being asked to change our thinking. All of us know how to think, and we think in various ways. There's at least as many ways as there are times 12 as there are people in here today. And so it's going to be different for everybody, so nobody else can really tell them what to do. They can probably point in the direction, and I'm going to point and see if you pick it up. The question is, how do you change your thinking? What does that mean, change your thinking? The times have changed. You have to think in a different way. And we're not talking like taking the salt and pepper shaker from the left side of the table and moving to the right side. We're talking about a total transformation. Total transformation. When you look at somebody in this room, you think that you're looking at their physical body. I'm here to tell you, and we teach it in school up here, that the physical body is invisible. It has a form. And what you see is a combination of the etheric body, the astral body, the physical body, and your ego. If you would take any one of those things out, what we would be looking at in that form would be very different. As a comparative to that, I'm asking you to look at water. When you look at that, somebody would say, well, you're really looking at gas. You say, what? That is true. Water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. If it wasn't in that form of water, you wouldn't see it. Same thing applies to each one of us here. We're in a form of physical form that contains our astral, etheric, ego, and physical bodies. We're asking you to look at everybody you see now as who they really are. That physical form is invisible. You can't see it with your physical eyes. This is the challenge of being present. It probably is connected to that hijacking that you're talking about. It starts on a low scale and goes up. On a low scale, we don't pay very much attention to it, but it's happening nevertheless. One of the practices that we can do, that we do here, is we teach meditation. A lot of people leave our classes before they really get to what meditation is. When you meditate, you have to use your imagination because thinking isn't going to get you there. But that's just one step. From your imagination, you got to go to inspiration. That'll give you a different picture, a different image. But even that isn't far enough because then you have to go to intuition. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? When you get there, you're approaching the threshold of the present. You are approaching the threshold. One of the meditations that I know about, they make the Rhodes Cross out of some dead wood, burnt wood. Then they put 12 white roses around the cross section. And it takes a little while to build this picture up, because you have to start with wood for a tree. After you build up that image and you get it, you say, I got it. Then they ask you to erase that image, which is pretty hard to do, because now that you've been focusing on it so long,
Right.
you say, I gotta get it to go away. And there's something in us that might be connected to that hijack that you're talking about that doesn't want to let it go. Because it's found security and holding on. Holding on. I gotta think, what am I gonna do now? When you are able to erase that image, that space that you go into right there, and no one can tell you about it, you have to experience it. That's the present. And when you experience it, you will know the difference between the way you think today and beyond. Thank you. Put that on the table.
So, in true David fashion, that probably left you a little more confused than what you But we always learn that everything goes in and it sits somewhere, and that knowledge will come out exactly when and how we need it to. So I just want to open up the table right now to see, since we took the time to kind of be in that present moment, to see what's bubbled up for us about presence, comments or questions or anything that comes up. Shem?
Yes, I have a comment. And it's back to the sister's question earlier about what is it like to be in that present moment. If you can recall at the beginning of today's service with the exercise that Tiffany did with us, the very first exercise, which is be seated and just be aware. Did you participate? Whatever you felt, that was you feeling yourself, just being in the present moment at that particular moment, time, place, and space. Now, the goal is, such as our sister Fofi had mentioned this, you must be in both worlds at the same time. And as we always mention, Brother David said, meditation. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
If you practice the exercise that was shared by Tiffany, then you will learn how to be aware of being in the moment. Even while you're listening, having a conversation with someone, while you're walking, seeing cars, driving. But practice makes perfect. And she gave you the foundation, the justice of the exercise. So the more you do that, the more you'll be aware of being in the moment for your own self. Does that help?
That's great. And there are a lot of, thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of exercises that you can do throughout the day, just as little reminders to yourself. There's mindful walking. So as you're walking down the road or taking steps, you're feeling the way that your feet work, from going to the heel to the toe, and just being consciously aware of the fact that your body's doing that. Feeling your feet planted on the ground and the way that your feet lie down on the ground. It's another one that I find to be helpful throughout the day, grounding experience.
Another brief comment, a little lighter comment about the summer solstice. As light workers, energy workers, and here at ISC, we are aware that, we are not our energy, but we use our energy, just an aspect of us, our active aspect. And we realize that our energy has a cycle such as that of nature. Nature has a natural cycle, so does our energy vibration. And we generally speak about the winter solstice, a time for relaxation, go within, because that's what the energy is all about, hibernation, and receptivity, the extreme yin, energy, the water energy, healing, nurturing, right? And a time for planting seeds. And what happens is, the opposite of that winter solstice, and we plant those seeds, is the summer solstice. Because during this, for example, during the spring equinox, nature, spring, everything is starting to budding. So those things that we have taken to within during that winter solstice begin to bud during the summer, during the spring equinox. And at the summer solstice, at the height, is our opportunity, being that the summer is representative of fire, and also be representative of the heart, also representative of the faculty of the will, the heart, being able to make decisions, choices. And the more we are free from our emotions and able to direct those choices, the more we can do that. And what happens is, from those seeds that we planted during the winter time, as they begin to grow and spring forth, at the summer solstice is our time to, as the root, as the wheel, to watch, to be in the moment, to observe what has sprung up and what have I been experiencing those past 6 months. If it is in line, if it's beneficial for me, then yes, I see that I am on the right path. Things are working for me. However, if there are many challenges, concerns, issues that I've been experiencing, it's a time to observe the thoughts that I have been taking in, giving, energy to at that particular time. Because as the summer solstice begin to wind down, as they've mentioned, the longest days of the years, the days are going to get shorter. However, the heat is going to continue to expand. So the summer solstice is a perfect opportunity, if it's not right, to pay a little bit of attention, do a little bit more work to get those things right, because as we approach the fall equinox, then the energy is not there anymore. And so you're really pretty much left with all those things that you planted in the winter that sprung up, that you didn't do anything about or was not conscious of. You're going to get those things in the fall when you reap those from that energy. And then you return back to the winter solstice where you can assess the whole year and plan again for that yearly cycle of directing your energy to manifest those things which you wish to manifest by simply choosing and being in the moment. So again, just a little lighter note, this summer solstice is time just to check out yourself, self-inventory, what's going on, because the energy is here. It is here. We can use it and direct it right now in the summer solstice time. Thank you for allowing me to share.
I have a question for David. If you can erase the thought of the rosy cross that you created, and you've erased it, but the minute you think about it again and it's there, did you ever erase it?
No. You didn't erase it. Your thought.
So, okay, so anything, so that would mean that anything that I create, it's always there, because even though I create the thing, and I'm no longer having my attention and intention on the thing, it's still there, because the minute I even think about it, it's gonna pop up again.
Here's the thing, like the shepherds are talking about, being in two places at once. It was there before you created.
Right.
So you are a co-creator and bringing it to manifestation of your consciousness. Not the same thing as creating something out of nothing.
Right.
Since it's already
Right there.
So we're talking about your consciousness, and then when your conscious intention and attention is on something, that's when you see it.
Right.
The practice is to put you in a state of consciousness that you're already in, but you don't see. That's the challenge.
That I don't see the cross.
Right.
Right, and that's what I was saying. I didn't see it, but the minute I thought about it, then I'm seeing it again.
But it's thinking.
It's thinking.
Remember, the thinking is what we're changing. That's what the whole practice is.
To change the thinking of it. So what you're saying is that I no longer even think about it.
It's on. It's gone. Everything's gone. There's nothing there. That's what spirit is.
So,
As physical beings, we do not see it, we do not experience it, we don't smell it, we don't touch it, it's not there. All the things that we are, even in the astrological class that I'm teaching, we're made up of cosmic energy in the universe.
Right.
But that's not who we are.
Right.
As long as we think that's who we are, that's when we have the separation and we start thinking this, that, planning this, planning that. It's not a bad thing. It's just you don't know who you are as long as you're doing that. Because you're associating with the result of who you are, not who you are.
It's hard to make the connections.
Oh, the connection's already made. Right. It's hard to realize the connection, yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to realize the connections in it. But once you change your thought, everything starts with that thought.
Yes.
Like when I was Christian, like when I was a Christian, and we thought about Jesus. So at one point it became embedded. So it got to the point where it was so embedded that you're driving down the street and you might get in an accident. It's so embedded in you that you Jesus without.
Yes, I
Right. Right. It's embedded in you.
Yeah.
It's because of the thought. So it's the thought form. That's all we have.
Well, I got a new
do.
thought form.
That's the problem. We have to change that.
Yes.
That's the whole
I got a
concept
new one.
right here. We have to change our concept of thinking, our whole perception. You know what I mean? And our whole perception of right and wrong. We have to change those things, the way we perceive right and wrong, and how we look at right and wrong. And like I said, like I was trying to explain to somebody today, some guys today, there's really no such thing as right and wrong. It's only negative and positives.
It's just an experience.
Vibrations, low vibrations, high vibrations. But we get so caught up in that concept of right and wrong, it destroys our thinking. You see what I'm saying? So, like I was trying to explain to some guys today, and like I said, and I'm saying for the record, I use this example. I'm gonna use this example, and I'm only using this example to understand the perception of how we perceive right and wrong. So if anybody use my example of what I'm about to use as a saying, oh, he said it's okay to do these things, then I want to go on record and say, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is how we perceive right and wrong is like, for instance, every time somebody starts talking, and call it, saying they're conscious and they start talking about right and wrong, they always associate right and wrong with drugs. That's what I want to say. So I wanted to say, I'm using that as an example. So don't take that as me saying, somebody, you can go out and use this and do that. I'm just saying the perception, how we perceive things. So we have to change our perception because we're not understanding words. You see what I'm saying? Because words have power. That's why they call it spelling. You see what I'm saying? So when we always look at the drugs, we always associate that with wrong. But when you actually look down at it and look at the perception of it, you look at the word. When they always say drugs, they always let you know that they are what? Recreational. See what I'm saying? So when you look at the word recreational, it's about recreation. You see what I'm saying? It's about recreation. So if your perception of right and wrong don't understand that it's about creation, and you don't know that there's no such thing as right and wrong, it's only negative and positive. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Your perception, your thinking. You see what I'm saying? So if it's recreational, then there's nothing recreational about you not having a job. There's nothing recreational about you being broke. There's nothing recreational about you going through a whole bunch of problems. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if it's recreational, and my concept of it is it's wrong. So it, like he was saying, it creates new. So guess what? My thought pattern, now can you understand why people say they lunch out and they seen ghosts and they seen all this craziness? Is because of their perception. You see what I'm saying? Perception of it. So then they start creating new creations, recreation. It's telling you what it's doing to you. So if I'm in a negative state of mind, and of course it's going to create all these negative perceptions for me. So it's not about right and wrong, it's about negative and positive. And a lot of us doesn't even understand that we're negative all day long. You understand what I'm saying? Even in our thinking. But we think negative all day long, and then we try to understand why we think negative, but we're always expecting good things to happen to us, but we're constantly thinking negative all day long. And we don't really understand that. So I always ask people to do, do little stuff. So like so I always give people examples. I got a girlfriend, and I'm calling. She ain't answering the phone. If my first thought is, oh, she with that old nigga, she with that other nigga.
That's an amygdala hijack.
Yeah.
Just a note.
That's what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, what I'm just saying, that's just letting me know. You understand what I'm saying? That just lets you know that my thought pattern is negative. Why she couldn't be busy? Why she couldn't be by the phone? Why the phone couldn't have been off and she just didn't see it? But if my first thought every time something happened is a negative thought. You see what I'm saying? Just like, and I say like, a lot of us, we call ourselves moral, and we be like, we supposed to go to court and, nobody come to court and all this and all that stuff. And we be like, oh man, ain't nobody come to court. And you see the perception, we just changed the whole perception of our court case before we had even begun. You see what I'm saying? Why?
It's a sick mind.
It makes it sick, so it makes sick thoughts, so it's always creating sick things for you. You see what I'm saying? Because you are creating these things. You're creating these. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. We keep going from one place to another, looking for a savior, when the only person that really saves us is ourselves, and understand that we are doing these things to ourselves.
That is the challenge.
That's
Matter
definitely
of
the
fact, I
challenge.
was just talking to Coco, who some of you guys know, he's a psychologist. And I was telling him I'm seeing a pattern of how we as a people are thinking. And that's the core right there. Our thinking is coming out of a sick mind. So how do we heal the mindset, even for them to put the proper information in so that they can execute that out to their world? Because that's going to be the
We definitely
challenge.
That,
And not just on that particular.
That's not okay. I understand what you're saying, but it's not a challenge. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell y'all why it's not a challenge. Because Man, I think I was sitting here and the chef was sitting here and I think we was playing. You remember when I kept saying something about, they said, you said the white man, what? You remember we was playing right there? You said the white man in trouble.
Right.
The problem is, I'm gonna tell you this. When my brother here is talking, nobody should be moving. And that problem that we keep having will be solved because astrology is one of the biggest things that we should be learning at this point. Because, reasons being, because if anybody understood what he was saying, anybody understood astrology at this point in life, I'm gonna change that mindset right now. If anybody understood astrology at this point in life, at this present time, because we're gonna deal with the present right now today. We're not gonna worry about what happened yesterday, what's going on later. We're gonna get in the moment right now. So let's get in the moment. Okay. Them people, I said them people. Them people told y'all just 2 years ago. And if y'all understood astrology the way we supposed to understand it, then none of us will be thinking the way we be thinking the way we are. Because they even told us just 2 years ago, the world was coming to an end. But because we don't understand astrology, that went straight over our heads. The world did come to an end as we knew it. It did. There reigned, and they was telling you that. But nobody was paying attention because we don't know astrology. You see what I'm saying? David said something like 2 weeks ago and kind of threw me off because I was all focused about the whole sun thing when we said how they reversed it and I understand how they remove stuff. That's in the religion, how they remove, replace, and do. So it kind of threw me off when I was doing my whole thing about how it takes the world 25,000 years to go around one time, and then they divide that by 12. And when they divide that by 12, they get 2,000 some odd years. So if I ask y'all what the date is, the date you're going to tell me what the date is, 2014. So each sign rules for 2,000 some odd years. We just left the sign of the Pisces. You understand what I'm saying? The sign of the Pisces was about the lies, about the deceit, about the Roman Catholic Church, about all the junk that we've been putting in our body's mind for the last 2,000 some odd years. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they were talking about. You understand what I'm saying? We just was in the sign of the Pisces, so if anybody want to know why they're so infatuated about the fish, that they got to have the fish, you understand what I'm saying? That's why when you read the book, read about Jesus met the fisherman and he fed the people with the fish. And when you ride down the street, you see the fish shine on the back of people's cars and all it had to do with astrology. All that's about astrology. You know what I'm saying? Well, we left that sign. Okay, we in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer. The water represents the truth. Everybody's starting to learn the truth. Everybody's starting to hear the truth. Everybody's starting to breathe the truth. Everybody's starting to feel the truth. Everybody's starting to think the truth. And this is what we in right now. You understand what I'm saying? Their reign is done. Their reign is over. Let's change that mindset today. Let's get out of that negative mindset. They don't run nothing. They going through things that you just don't see and that you see, like how every day you look at Channel 7 News and they see about us all day long. You don't see what they're going through. You got to go to stuff like Discovery, you know, the Discovery channels and stuff like that, and you know, I mean, you got that their stuff is on a whole another world. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you don't see them on the corner shooting each other because they too busy killing their mamas and their papas and their best friends, and see they in a whole different world. You understand what I'm saying? That's a whole different world they got going on over there. That's why that stuff don't make the news. You understand what I'm saying? Because their stuff is treacherous. And they regulate it, but it's treacherous. You see what I'm saying? What they're doing and what they're going through is treacherous. That stuff shouldn't even be on the news. That's why it's not there. It had nothing to do with they better and they do. they on their way out. Just like the comedians used to say how they used to, one day we gonna walk in the museum, you gonna see the niggas. No, you gonna walk in the museum one day and you gonna see them statues standing there. They on the way out. Let's change that mindset. They're not running anything. Nobody running anything. It's on us now. You understand what I'm saying? It's on us. It's our time. You understand what I'm saying? So let's change that mindset. Let's get off that. Get out of that negative state of mind. It's on you. You know what I mean? That's what the message has been the whole time from everybody. Stop focusing on the messenger. That's why I wear my head bang and do, because I'm trying to teach, stop focusing on the messenger and get the message. Because the message has been the same message. It's coming from everybody. I was telling them, Michael Jackson, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Then I say a lot of people don't like him. So let's go to the rap. I was watching Biggie and Puppy sitting on the table one day on the movie. Biggie looked at Puppy and said, I want to change the world. Puppy said, you can't change the world till you change yourself. That's what he told Biggie. And then they got an old church song that says, sweep around your old front door. It's the same message, but we can't make the connection because we can't live in the present. It's the same message. Everybody's saying the same message. It's us. We have to change. We have to change our thinking. We have to change our thought. It has to start with our thinking. Because everything starts with a thought. We just don't want to do it.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
We can't say that.
Yeah.
We doing it.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We're doing it. It's just people just need to change. They just need to change the mindset.
And I just, since I did interject, because that comes down to it right there. Right. When you say we're not doing that, you're putting that spell out there.
Right.
And we ain't gonna do it because our leaders saying we're not doing that. Whether you talking about them out there or whoever you talking about, it wasn't specific. You just said we. So as we change our thinking, change our speaking also. Right? So now we receive that. We're not saying now we're not doing that. What we're saying is that, listen, we have some tools here at ISC. We got some tools. We got everything. And I appreciate your presentation, because not only did you deliver a heavy message, you gave, here, try this out. Something to carry out with us to practice, so that if we having trouble changing our thinking, because most of us realize it's easier said than done.
Right.
You know, because our energy system has been here since before we was born on this physical plane. So we try to change our energy system, change our thinking based on the energy system that's programmed to lifetimes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Lifetimes. But once we make that commitment, I need to be committed to this change. And then we stop talking about what they doing and what they not doing.
Right.
It's about what am I doing
In this moment.
in this moment, because I am it, right? And if I need some, and if I need, that's right, baby. Because always got to remember that. And if I am it, and if I'm having issues living I am it, I need to. Well, listen, I already have it intellectually. You said something, gave an example of doing something. Can you show me that? Reverend Dorita, I need to have a counseling session with you because I understand what I should be doing, but I'm not doing it. It's not that I don't want to do it. Please, can you help me provide some tools to help me to do that thing? And again, we have to start speaking and reminding ourselves we have those tools at ISC. If you go to ISC's website and check out the services, whatever we're saying, what they are not doing, which is really us, we just realize that, you know, we just want to celebrate that thing for a minute. But if we want to do that human nature thing and say what they're not doing, if we go to ISC's website, everything that they need is on ISC's website. So again, what we gonna do? Are we gonna keep talking about what they not doing, what we not doing, or we gonna talk about what are we doing? What did we do this week? You know, what did we do this week? You know, show and tell kind of time. In church, we have praise reports. You come to church, you know, before everything gets done, let's have a praise report, testimony. What did you do good this week? Or what type of things that happened this week in your life? Share it, and let's all ride that. And each week do that.
Let's do it right now.
That's right. That's right.
We had a flea market yesterday.
That's right.
ISC made $56 off their.
That's right. That's right.
I'll share what I did this morning. I decided to come here and be present instead of planning, which I know a lot of you understand. what I told myself back in the room was, I was nervous coming out, but I told myself that in this present moment, I have to decide to be the woman that I want to be in the future. And the woman that I want to be in the future, based on what I thought about in my past, was a woman who could stand strong and confident and be in the present moment and share who she was. I didn't think I was ready to do that, but in this present moment, if I know I'm creating my future, then I just need to do it now.
Right.
So clap for me.
I know that's
What y'all do this week?
I think Aziza had a comment or question.
Oh, yeah, this comment I was gonna make was that it's nice, more sisters going natural. And that makes me happy to see that, like my friend said, one of these days, relaxers are gonna be a thing of the past. Okay, that's gonna be out of style, because what's in style is going natural, and just respecting, your culture and embracing who you are. So,
I've heard recently that they're calling relaxed hair natural hair. Hair, yes, instead of it being that you're doing something to chemically alter your hair, you're leaving your hair to relax. You're leaving it to be natural. That's a new term I had heard recently. Yeah, so instead of it being that you're relaxing your hair by chemicalizing it, you're actually relaxing your hair by letting it be natural and letting it breathe and letting it take on.
Relax.
It's relaxed.
Yeah.
It's
You can relax.
It's really nice.
You can relax when you're
Trying to get the people
Yeah,
to
that's a
relax.
play on words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before your hair was all uptight and
relax.
Well,
You
no,
can lie, but you
it's
relax.
coming back around from that. See, initially you didn't want your hair to be so natural and so relaxed as it is in a natural state. You wanted to actually put it in stress and make it strained and straight. But now you can just relax and say, no, let me have what's naturally mine. Let me rock what I got. And that's the natural state. And that was from I was gonna say minority, but a melanated woman.
They're working.
What are we doing?
Hello.
That's all I'm saying.
About
That's right. Oh,
For the last 3 days, I've been getting up at 3 o'clock, and I've been fussing my house. We're going into every room and just,
Keep telling us, give us more testimonies. What are y'all doing?
We get up early all week to finish my homework.
Yes. That's a really good thing, right? Who else?
Well, I've been trying to pay attention to what the summer solstice did to my energy all week. And it got to a place where it was extremely active, more active than I am actually normally. I mean, I noticed myself dancing or having the energy to do a few more things. Just I was, I don't know, just noticing that it was more vibrant for me right now. And I wanted to say that, just say that, once we finish this, and I don't want to put you on the spot, David, but can you tell us what this energy would represent to us astrologically, astronomically, astrologically?
Yeah, and you know what, David, I think that you should, because last Sunday we had the graduation, which would have been the full moon, which you would have been giving us that information, so it's like we're starving for it. I think that's because that's the second request.
It's just never, I can never be proud. I did.
That's right.
All right.
I like it, but the biggest thing that everybody should know now is Mercury's retrograde. And that phenomenon gives you the psychological attitude that a lot of things from the past that need to be taken care of, you need to look at them right now. And say, I don't need to carry this weight, what am I still doing with it? You can throw it away. And all of us can throw something away. Something that we don't need, we just have it laying around. It's not serving any purpose. It's just there to give us a false sense of security. It's in Gemini, so it looks like it's far retrograde back into Gemini, so it's looking like we have a choice. And catch-22 with choices are, you think you have a choice between doing this and that. Your choice is to do the right thing, period. If you see anything else, you're on the wrong track. That's what time. That's what time it is today. The son is going through cancer, and so focuses on feelings. We are feeling people. And pretty much like at the step up and graduation we had last week, I believe that we as a people were created to be priests and priestesses, ministers for the world. We have been checking our responsibility. It's not that we're not doing it, it's just a resistance to us doing it that we don't pay attention to. As long as we don't pay attention to the resistance that we have, things will not get done. That's what this Mercury retrograde pattern is bringing back to our consciousness. To the extent that we don't pay attention, it looks like during the retrograde period, things are very relaxed. Like, oh, I got free time, I got free money, I can do this, I can do that. All these choices are distractions that come into you because you forgot about those things that are laying around that you need to get rid of. The bill that you can pay, that you got this money now, you're going to buy something new. Okay? The thing that you buy new is going to be a limit. When Mercury goes to red, the bill collector for the old thing is going to come, but you spend the money on the limit. Now you got two bills. This is the retrograde period is like, along with Mercury being retrograde, Saturn is retrograde. Saturn is the thing that makes you stand up straight for who you are. That's all about who you are, who you really are, pulling no punches, no apologies. It's also retrograde, and it's going through Scorpio. Scorpio is about transformation. It's talking about changing the way that you feel. We got a lot of old feelings from a long, long time ago, lifetimes that are built up. This is the perfect time to take a look at those things and say, what do I need? What's serving me? If it's not serving me, why do I have it here? Neptune's in Pisces. You have like a grand triangle set up, since the energy runs real smooth through our feelings. And so we are feeling people, we're feeling it. It's time to let go of something, but we won't let it go. What's that resistance? Nobody else can tell you. You have to look at it. You have to look at it for yourself to see what is it that you're holding on to that's blocking you from being who you are. Maybe your closest friends, you can have a conversation with them, but they don't even know because you keep it secret from yourself. How are they going to know? Sometimes it peeks through. But that's the big overflow of everything. I think the full moon was in Sag. All about the truth. What is truth? That's the question. Who can tell you that? You need to look at that for yourself and define it. Because your truth is always going to be true for you. Nobody can talk you out of that. Nobody can divert you from that. If you take up somebody else's truth, there are consequences. If you let your own truth go, there are consequences. There are consequences for everything. Choose your own consequences.
That's right.
Peace.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody for sharing your divine knowledge with us all today. And may we move forward, bringing ourselves to the present moment and understanding the power we have in every thought and every word and every emotion and every action that we do. And we own it and start creating now what we want our future to look like. So I guess this is where we circled up, huh?
That's great. No, I put somebody now.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
That was my scoop.
That was great. It's really big at this time. We do have some announcements. We're going to have our silent retreat October 3rd and the 5th, and we have some little flyers, and please take some and give them out to people. I'll just pass those out. The first couple were maybe kind of upside down or whatever. That was me testing the printer. So don't even worry about the back. The information is correct. So you can hand those out to people, let them know that we're having this retreat. We're also going to have the green ball, the emerald ball. That's going to be hopefully in September. We located a room where we can have that up in the gallery. It's a time for us to dress up and look pretty and come out and eat healthy food and socialize with our friends. So that'll be in September. And of course, the classes, 3-year classes will start in September, the first Tuesday after Labor Day. That'll be the first 101 class. What else? What else is going on? Shep, you had something else to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
On Thursdays, you know, we have meditation every week, Tuesday through Friday. On Thursday, we've allotted that as our IC group meditation day. It was mentioned about a month or so ago, a few weeks ago, that maybe we should do like a group meditation in the evening or something like that collectively and, you know, branch out. So we're doing that on Thursdays at noon here. And the idea for those who can't make it in here, we'll just send an email out, let everyone know the focus for that particular meditation. And we just, you know, begin our group meditation, ISC, you know, and make it happen, you know, doing our work. And along with that, one of the things that came to me during that meditation was that family element. You know, just my human nature element is expressing, reaching out, and, you know, can see that brotherly, sister, Muslim, Christian, but what, you know, all those organizations that have that family member, biological, whatever it can be. Anyway, to say that that's Thursday. On Friday, we're having our party. We have a student body party. We have a monthly party here at ISC, you know, a way to come together, socialize, let our hair down, not so much intense, you know, lecture, training, but we're going to share some stuff. That's why we have light bearers, you know, things just come out, especially in a relaxed atmosphere. So open invitation for all to join us Friday evening, coming. As well as on Saturday, as Dorita comes back, I really would love to have her to be an issue out of this announcement.
But if you're coming on Friday, do bring something you can enjoy with us. We're gonna have music. If you like any particular kinds of games or know any particular types of games that you could encourage us to play that might promote teamwork or camaraderie or trusting, or, you know, for us to build, bring that kind of energy with you and share.
That's at 7.
That's
Starts at 7, yeah. Mm-hmm. Until, yes,
Where is it again?
right here
Right here.
Okay, Friday.
at 7 o'clock. Mhm.
And and if we'll probably have to take this carpet up if Lou's not back in town. Because there's no way that you're off and dance the way y'all dancing. With this stuff.
y'all.
Hey, y'all. Y'all.
Right.
But we also going back to the flea market today too. So IC still has a table there at Dynamic Wellness. I still have a table there. And we'll probably be there until about 5 or 6, most likely until 6.
Yeah, we were down there yesterday. We had a ball.
Where is that?
That's on 402 H Street.
H. Northeast.
Northeast. Huh?
Yeah, yesterday was a guy there with vegan bean pies. There was an acupressurist. There was someone, Dr. Folks, Dr. Karen Folks, with information. You know, she was just, you know, she's always telling you how you can heal yourself even further. She goes on the molecular level of healing. You know, when she starts talking about what's in the water that wasn't broken down, that was, you know, supposed to be water you can drink, but it's got pharmaceuticals in it and residuals from, you know, whatever other chemicals that are in the water. I mean, she's just telling me that, and even she made a comment, just to go there for a second, it doesn't matter what you eat so much as the nutrition that you get. I mean, you can get nutrition in your skin from the air, which is how, you know, you've had people that when they go on fasts, you know, their body may, you know, shrink in size a bit, but they're surviving off of just the chi that they're able to get, to eat, to fill. And I think that was something else we talked about, you know, how the spirit can fill you up and how it can nurture you and take care of you. So I'm sorry, you said something about Saturday, you wanted Dorita to be present.
Oh, yeah, I was just going down the events, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, relative to ISC. Thursday is the meditation here at noon. Friday is the party at 7 o'clock. And Saturday, we're planning a beach trip.
A peace trip.
Beach.
Beach.
Beach. Like beach, like to the ocean, to the water, somewhere. The location which beach has not been determined yet, because it just came about yesterday evening. The reason I wanted you to be present for the announcement, because it is it's a celebration of part of the summer solstice as well as the birthdays in June, because a few of us have actual birthdays in June. And it started out being just a birthday getaway for a few of us that had little birthdays. Well, why not? Most of us here at ISC anyway, and they just opened it up to our ISC family and say, we're available next Saturday. Want to go hang out at the beach for a little while? Let's go hang out at the beach for a little while next Saturday, or this coming Saturday.
Okay.
So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, again, got some activities going on at ISC as part of the summer solstice thing as the energy increase and build and just grow and flourish.
Two of the places that are being considered are private beaches, meaning that you wouldn't have anybody to the left or to the right of you tell you how you can or cannot conduct yourself.
Oh, okay.
Private property with, you can do that if you want to. But it's, you know, you won't be disturbed if you want, you know, we want to have a nice picnic, loud music.
Say that word. I don't like that word. You can't say it. You have to say outing.
That's right.
I'm sorry, did I say
barbecue?
barbecue? I said barbecue. I meant barbecue,
Yeah.
a cookout,
Yes.
a beach outing.
Exactly what you said.
Cookout, and bush outdoor activity.
Really?
Yeah, that's where that word came from.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I did not use that word.
Oh, I know, we don't,
What's in the email?
so we're trying to.
But if you want to
My
make,
birthday that Sunday, so
you have your birthday Sunday? Yeah, see, Boke's birthday is Sunday. We even know. Yeah.
No,
Sunday. Next Sunday.
I'm sorry to be right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, so we have all the announcements. Any other announcements that's happening?
For those who would like to see,
Oh, God,
as I shared earlier, I've been getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and one morning I got up and I saw some objects in the sky and I videotaped them.
Oh, nice.
So for those who would like to see, it was a little scary at first. I was texting Dorita at 3 o'clock.
I ran outside, and I don't see anything but clouds. And I told her, I said, well, I'm your witness that you were abducted. She got in her car and gonna follow this stuff.
I was gonna get my car, but when I stepped out, I could actually still see it. When I was on my patio, it came above me. So, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But then I finally calmed down and I wasn't scared anymore. So I love to share them with you guys.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you have your phone charger, you can plug it to the
You
computer.
can
show
do
it
it with the charger?
Yeah, the
You wanna
USB.
try it?
iPhone, I got that.
iPhone,
Oh,
right.
good.
Like,
Okay.
put the USB
Yeah.
port into the computer.
Okay.
And,
Oh, good, good. Okay,
That's good.
what else? There's a class that I'm, right now trying to work on, and it's called Bells, Books, and Candles and Spells. Because everybody's always asking me to, tell them about grimoires and how you do that, and I can put that out, so. I'm working on that, and hopefully I'm gonna do it like mid-July to August. So just be aware of that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're in the, third week of the Heart Touch class? Just kind of wanted to put that out there. We're still doing the Heart Touch
Yes.
class, and we do allow people to sit in on it. What day is it? Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
At what time?
7 to 9 or so. And then on Monday, also at Dynamic Wellness, the sacred science of
Sacred Life.
Sacred Life
Science and Art, right.
and Arts class on Monday, which includes some Tantra arts as well. That's this Monday.
Yes. And actually, I'm gonna be that's the Monday, every other Monday, at Dynamic Wellness. And the 2 Mondays that I actually did the Heart Touch therapy demonstration down there. Because what I'm doing is, we're working together, myself and Mark Christian. She has the experience and knowledge about the tantric side of things, and I'm bringing into tools that individuals can use to get their energy system balanced and purified. Because what she's talking about doing is taking out our energy
and being able to manifest and do, use it like we should use it. And ultimately, we want to have it purified, cleaned out. So I did the heart touch therapy as a demonstration. This Monday, I'll be speaking about the breath of life training, in which I will share that with them, give them some ideas about breathing techniques and how to, bring their energy down and find the center, things like that. So again, everyone is welcome, and please come out and support. And it's an ongoing class also, so we're building up and building up. Like I said, the idea is to eventually get the point for those who are ready to experience, our energy and,
The operative
Yes.
word is ready.
Yes.
Just because it's often a means you're ready. Did you have a question?
Yeah, where is this located?
That's the same place we're going today, 402H.
These are like.
Oh,
okay.
It's called Dynamic Wellness.
You know where Union Station is, in the parking lot of H?
Yeah.
It's right there.
New Giant.
Okay.
Right there, next to New Giant.
Okay, so it's right there. Okay. Dynamic Wellness.
Okay, well, since they're fixing that, we can stand, I think we are even now, girls, boys, thumbs left.
Guys and dolls.
Guys and dolls, men and women, you folks, gods and goddesses, kings and queens,
So let's come up.
emperors and empresses. Okay, and after we finish, I attempted to create some cherry pies, so we got cherry pies in the back for you. Yes, I did it as a crumb topping, so let me know if I put too much sugar, not enough sugar. This was my first fresh cherry pie, not from the can. Yeah, so I picked off old cherries. All right.
Cherry picking.
Yes. Okay, so let's just center ourselves, standing on our square, and receive that energy when you stand on your square. That's your feet at a 90-degree angle. And as you do that, say to yourself, peace, be still. Be still and feel the power and the glory of the divine presence. You. We thank our guides, guards, teachers, and the ancestors who shared their energies with us here and now. We accept the responsibility that we are the divine people of this universe, and we accept that responsibility. Let us walk in our authority, knowing who we are at all times, expressing and emanating that which we are, divinity present on earth. And with this knowledge, we say Ashe,
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 Asheo.
Asheo.
So it is. And everybody, this is Aziza. She's here visiting. Hope they will bring her back to stay. So,
Give it up, get up.
yes, is it set up?
How are you?
I'll give a hug.
He was like, last one came, that's for having us.
Oh, pumping too. Hug, hug.
No, seriously.
I feel that. That's love right there.
Dick Gregory, Precious Wilson. You live at?
Work on it, okay?
Yeah, I got my squash coming up. There.
Oh, that's right.
Get my yellow.
I'm glad you know
Right to the spot.